Hello, hello. Happy Sunday. I hope you're keeping warm. Super cold here in North Florida. We are in the high 20s, low 30s still, so still freezing a little bit. Today, Brooke didn't do my makeup and hair. I did it myself, so this is what you get. Well, we are having really, really slow sales. Our sales are down 43% over last month, which again could be to be expected from the holidays, but it's not what we want. So I have been looking for online auctions. I've not been finding a ton, and sometimes that happens. You will go through dry spells where it is hard to find inventory, but I'm just going to keep on searching. For me, typically when I find one good auction, I'll buy enough that'll last me a couple months. So I haven't been looking because we had inventory. Now that we're almost out, I can't find anything. So that's kind of one reason to keep, a little bit of stockpile of inventory just in case you can't find anything. But it's okay. I will find stuff, I promise. And today I'm going to go over the regular sales with you. So the majority of these are going to be kind of bread and butter around, $20, $30 mark for the most part. There are a few that are higher that I'm going to show you because we won't have a high dollar what sold for a couple of weeks, but the majority of them are going to be pretty easy to find. So if you're new to reselling, the reason I do these videos is so that you can see what I'm selling, so that if you're out at the thrift stores or garage sales and looking for inventory for your own reselling business, you'll know what's selling right now. So all of this stuff has sold in the last week. You're going to be really, really surprised at what we're selling so much of in January. And I have talked about this before, but we're going to hit on that point again. So let's go ahead, take a look at the back of my eBay store so you can see my numbers, and then we'll jump over and take a look at about 20 to 25 sales that made up part of what we did last week. All right. So as I said, our sales are slow. Now, I am recording this very early in the morning. That's why today is low. We're at $50. For the week, we're at $2,000 though. And really, we want to be at about $5,000. So we're less than half of where we want to be. For the month, we're only at $11,805, down 43% from last month. So today you see the 50. Yesterday was only 172. Friday was 189. Now, Thursday, we did have a good day at the 535. 500 is kind of our lowest benchmark that we really want to hit. So we did hit that on Thursday, but that is the only day this week. So the only thing you can do when stuff like this is happening is to keep listing, keep looking for better inventory, and just kind of push through it. There's going to be ups and downs on reselling, just like there is in any business. And the key is to stay consistent. Be very, very persistent with what you are doing. Do not stop because those sales are slowing up. Make that drive you just a little bit harder. So let's go ahead, take a look. Again, this is not everything that made up that $2,000, but it's a really good sampling to give you an idea of the types of items that are selling right now. First up is one of my favorite things to sell, and that is vintage linens. This is a vintage hand-embroidered table runner, floral, orange. I did put cottage core, 16-inch by 37. This one took over a year to sell, and that is the case with a lot of the vintage linens. Sometimes I'll get them that sell faster, but the majority sell between like 6 and 12 months. So this one sold for $19.49, and here you can see, and you see that first picture was that zoomed in. So this is it all the way out. In the center there, we showed the length as well as the width. And good sale on this because I was only $1 in, so about a $15 profit. But again, it did take over a year. Next up is another one that took around that year mark to sell, and this one's a Plano tackle box. It's 3-tier fold out. I did put with supplies, and I'm going to show you guys and kind of talk about what I did. So I bought several fishing boxes in an estate buyout, and what I did was go through those boxes, pull out what was valuable, and then the rest of it I just left in there as a lot, which tends to help sell these a little bit better. So I made actually more than I made on the whole box on just a couple of lures, but this box did sell for full price at $38.99. I'm actually less than $2 into this, so it's a $30 profit. And you can see here we did leave some items in, but again, the lures that were worth $15 to $20, I did pull out. I did not leave them in this box. I listed them separately. So that's one of the ways to kind of get more money out of your bulk buys. Pull out those valuable items and then just leave the rest in there, make it look like a bigger bundle and a bigger sale. And it did take a year, but it did sell for full price at $38.99. Here's another one that took a year. So there's quite a few longer tail items, which is kind of two-sided. You know, they did take a long time to sell, but I'm glad they're going, especially this one. This is a 3-piece Pottery Barn king size palm tropical duvet and sham set. This one did sell for full price. It sold for $129.99 and it took a year. So another one that took a year to sell, but I only paid $10 for this at thrift store. So this one's about $100 profit. So if you ever see Pottery Barn, make sure you pick it up. Here we are showing there are some stains on it. We did wash this. They did not come out. So we did attempt to remove them. And here's that Pottery Barn tag. Definitely keep an eye out for Pottery Barn. We have done very, very well with it. And this is for the duvet cover and 2 shams, and it is a $100 profit. Next up is this Mickey oversized beach towel for 2. This one was a Disney store, 100% cotton. It was brand new. This one sold for a best offer of $28. We had it for 6 months. I paid $5 for it at a estate sale, so it's about an $18 profit. I'm surprised, honestly, the beach towel is selling now, but people can go on vacation. Obviously, they can go on cruises and still need these towels. So not overly surprised, but of course your beach towels and things like that are going to sell more in the spring and summer. So this one is going to be about an $18 profit, but it did take 6 months to sell. Up next is a very, very fast sale, and there are quite a few of these. And this is what I was referring to when we talked about stuff selling in January. And it's really crazy that these ornaments sell in January. And I know it's kind of hard to believe, but I tell everybody all the time, Christmas does sell year round, especially in January. People are putting up their trees. They're going to notice what they're missing, what they need to have for next year. So we actually sell a lot of ornaments in January. So make sure you're still listing those ornaments if you have them. This one sold in under a month, very fast, full price, $24.99. I paid $1. So this one's right at a $19, $20 profit. Super cute little kitty cat. It does have the little hamster in the ball. And this one is vintage from 2001 and great profit and very, very fast sale. Up next is one that I made a mistake on, and I definitely like to tell you guys both the stuff I'm doing good and the stuff that I'm not doing so great at, and this is one of those. And what happened with this one is I had it listed as a 3.4 ounce, and it was actually only a 1 ounce. So this got to the buyer. I was very lucky that I had an understanding buyer. They said, hey, this was only a 1 full ounce bottle. I paid for 3.4. Could you give me a refund? So what I did is I went and looked through these pictures, and I'm going to show you. So you can see here, it is 1 ounce, and I missed that. And I did not catch that I listed a 1 ounce bottle at a 3.4 ounce listing and a 3.4 ounce price. So what I did for that buyer, they asked for a $30 refund. I actually refunded them $35. So I gave them a little bit more than what they asked for. They were happy. They said they would buy from us again. So if you have mistakes that you make, you can look back through those pictures. I saw that that was definitely my mistake. Own it, apologize, and make it right for your customer. That is all you can do. Or like if she had wanted to return it, I gladly would have paid the shipping for her. But mistakes are going to happen in this business. It's just a matter of, owning that you made the mistake and taking responsibility and making your customer happy. Next up is one that didn't take too long to sell, 5 months, but this is some Juicy Couture Black Label Blue Cat Eye glasses. And these I actually got at the thrift store. I was really surprised. They are just reading glasses. They did sell for full price of that $29.99 and pretty fast, I think, for glasses at 5 months. And I know a lot of you, especially if you're just starting out, I think it's natural to expect this stuff to sell really fast, but that is just not the case. This stuff takes months, sometimes years to sell. If you're wanting stuff that really moves fast, check your sell-through rate and get stuff that's only 100%. So if there's 50 listed, there's 50 sold. And what that means is that your items will typically sell within 3 months of you listing them. The higher the sell-through rate, meaning if there are 50 listed and 100 sold, it should sell in closer to a month and a half. But this is not a kind of quick turnaround necessarily, unless you can find a lot of really, really good items. So these picked up at the thrift store for $2, making them about a $22 profit. Up next was a really, really fast sale. This one was just listed a month ago. This is a Yadro number 6229, Contented Companion Porcelain Figure, Girl Brushing the Dog. This one sold really, really fast, and it sold for full price at $139.99. I picked it up for $20, so this one's actually close to $100 profit. With your Yadros, look them up, because there are some that are not worth anything, and then there are some like this. This is a good midpoint for Yadro, but I've also sold Yadros for over $2,000. So there definitely are some that are worth paying up for. You just have to research, because some are very widely available and they don't sell for much. So you can see here on the tag, this one was originally $195. It looks like the person got it for $144.99, but I got it for really cheap at an auction. So I made $100 profit, and very, very fast sale in under a month. Up next is another one that took over a year. So quite a few of these that are taking longer to sell, showing that this is not always a short-term gain. So this is a vintage hand-painted Gypsy Woman, Russian nesting dolls, Matryoshka. There were 5 total. This one sold for a best offer of $24.49, and I paid $5, so it's about a $15 profit after fees. You can see that we show it together, and then we also show them separated. And this was a really, really cool piece. There are some nesting dolls that are super valuable, but the majority of them are going to sell between that $20 and $30 point. Next up is a very, very fast sale. It is another Christmas ornament. So I told you guys, I know a lot of you aren't going to expect to be selling Christmas ornaments, but they are going. So this one was listed less than 2 weeks. This is a vintage Christopher Radko double-sided Dawn Sun Dusk sunglass ornament. This one sold in probably about a week and a half, and it sold for full price at $39.99. I did get some lower offers. I did not take them. I knew it was the only one up and had not been listed long. Here you can see the Radko. That is how we identified it there on the top, and very, very fast sale. So make sure you check your ornaments on the top there to see where they are from, to see what brand they are, and make sure you put that in your title. Another one, same deal, very fast sale. This one is not branded. This is just a hand-painted glass cow, jumps over the moon. I sent out a 10% offer of $22.49. I am less than $1 in, and this one's an $18 profit, sold in a week. You can see we did put color fading on the moon, and very, very fast sale on this one, even though it was not branded. So just remember, it does not always have to be branded. Next up, this one actually sold faster than I thought. This one was listed back in November, so it took about 2 months to sell. And I did lot these two up because I wanted to hit a higher price point. And the two of them did sell for full price at $49.99. It is Enesco and Homco, a vintage hummingbird and robin, the set of two of them. So not even the same kind of bird, but kind of the same theme. And they sold for full price in 2 months. So I was very, very happy with this sale. I am less than $5 into both of these. So they are going to be about a $38 profit in 2 months. Now, typically your figurines like this, and you can see the Enesco here, typically these don't sell very well because they were overproduced, but I got these in an auction lot. And if I get them in an auction lot and I can make good money on them, then I am definitely going to do that. Next up is another fast sale and another one in under a month. So with these Hallmark ornaments, you have got to check them because there are a lot of them that will sell like this for $25. And I think typical buy price at like garage sale and a lot of times at estate sales is only $1 a piece on these. And that is what I am in. This one did sell for $25. This one is the Mayor's House Special Edition. And it sold in 2 weeks. Super, super fast sale. Look at this cute little house with the furniture in it. It's not vintage, but it was a really good sale and it's a $20 profit. This one is one I'm proud of because it only took 2 months and it's coffee cups. And a lot of times the coffee cups are a hard sale, but I loved going to Amish country up in Pennsylvania and I saw these and I thought I would get them. I'm not a coffee drinker. If I was, I probably would have kept them for myself. So this is a set of 2. They sold for $20, but they were only 50 cents a piece at the thrift store. So they're about a $15 profit. And again, 2 months to sell is pretty fast. So with mugs, I really don't pick up a ton. This one just kind of spoke to me because it's something I like, but there definitely are mugs that will sell for pretty decent prices. Next up is one that took about 8 months to sell, and this one did sell for a best offer of $19.59. This is one of my dollar thrift store finds, though. So I'm pretty big on picking up like the Souvenir. Like you can see this one's Cuffy's Cape Cod. And I've actually done very well with other stuff from Cuffy's Cape Cod. So those I definitely always pick up. But I'll also pick up like restaurant and bar souvenir t-shirts. I've done good with those. So with the dollar buy cost on this one, I'm making about a $15 profit. But again, took 8 months to sell. So it took a little longer. So that's something you want to think about when you have a lot of space. You could do stuff like this, but if you don't, these are typically going to be something that you would want to skip. Next up is another mid sell-through range right at the 6 month point. This is a vintage antique clay ink bottle. It is 4 inches. This one I was really happy with the sale. This was in a pottery lot. It sold for a best offer of $25. I'm only a couple dollars in, so this one's actually pretty close to a $20 profit. And it's really small. If you see here, it's actually just over 3.5 inches. And 6 months for this one to sell, I don't think is very bad. Next up is a linen item that took close to a year to sell. This one was listed in March last year. This one sold for a best offer of $40. I did pick it up at the thrift store for $5. So this one's about a $28 profit. This one is a Fieldcrest Touch of Class pink waffle weave. And I probably would still pick this up, even though it took a long time. So I love the vintage linens, but they're really not hard to photograph, and they're definitely not hard to ship. Next up is both a fast sale and a high profit. And this one was listed less than 2 weeks ago. This is a Arthur Nash iridescent art glass trumpet bud vase. This is 4 inches, and it sold for a best offer I sent out of $269. Now, this one I got from an online auction. I paid about $50, so it's about $175 profit in just a couple of weeks. So pretty fast. So definitely remember the name Arthur Nash. So if I zoom in here, you can see that Nash inscribed right there on the bottom. So that is what you would want to look for. I always look at iridescent glass because there are quite a few iridescent glass makers that are very, very valuable. Next up is another mid-range sell-through rate, and I actually accepted a little bit less than I wanted on these. I accepted a best offer of $60. These are vintage The Doctor's Pocket Knife Set by Frost Cutlery. They are in the original box, and they sold in 4 months. So at 4 months, I typically want to be at about 30% off, which would be about $65 to $70, but I accepted $60 because our sales have been low and I am only about $10 in. So these are about a $45 profit. I did get them from an online auction lot. You can see they're really small. They were actually in a jewelry lot, surprisingly. So I'm going to take that $45 profit, even though it's a little bit less than what I was wanting. Next up is one that I picked up at the thrift store. I actually picked this up for only $1, but this one's another one that took a year. So this video is kind of, it's got a lot of those 1 year turnaround items, which is a long time, especially if you don't have space. So make sure you're checking that sell-through rate. Again, what you do to get that is you see how many are listed and then you look at how many are sold, and you're wanting to see close to the same number. If you see 50 listed and only 10 sold, it's something like this, it's going to take a while. So you might want to think twice before you get it. This one sold for a best offer of $22.75. I only paid $1, so it's actually about an $18 profit, which you see that is half of what I was asking. So when stuff like this happens, it's very possible that I didn't comp correctly and that I had it overpriced. So when I send my 50% off offer, then the item sells. So that's why you need to be really, really careful with your pricing and not price stuff higher than it's actually showing that it's selling for. If you would have told me when I listed these that they would sell in under a week for $20, I probably would have told you were crazy, even though I'm the one that priced them. So this is a set of 2. I did put shades of green, shiny bright ornaments. They sold for $20 for just plain shiny bright ornaments, 2 of them. I'm less than $1 in. They are a $15 profit, and they sold in under a week. Here you can see made in the US of A, and here is the top of that. It says Remire, made in the USA, and a great, great sale, very, very fast on some plain ornaments. So don't think they have to be fancy for them to sell fast. Up next is a Pyrex, and not all Pyrex is created equal. This one sold in 5 months, so not super long, but it only sold for $23. So I paid $5, so it's about a $12 profit. But personally, it's not worth it to be packing this. So this is not something I would get again. And that's just kind of stuff that we live and learn and make adjustments as we're going throughout our reselling business. Happy to have it gone, but definitely not enough profit in the future for me to want to pack something like this. Another Christmas ornament that sold in under a week. This is a vintage Christopher Radko Gnome Elf Pixie clip-on. The crazy thing is this was originally a set of 3, but there were not many listed. So this one actually sold for a best offer of $35. I got a lot of offers of $20, $25, and I'm like, no, you know, this has only been listed a week. So I waited, got that offer at $35, made about a $30 profit on this little clip-on. You can see it's just 3 inches. Clip-on ornaments, in my experience, especially vintage ones, do perform very, very well and tend to sell fast. Up next is this Indiana glass fairy lamp. This is a clear one, diamond point, and this one was listed back in May, so about 8 months to sell, so a little bit longer. It did sell for full price of $41.99. This was in a lot with some different colored fairy lamps that did sell quite a bit faster and for a higher dollar point. But when you buy lots, sometimes you get these plain ones like this. I'm okay with the $40 sale on this. It's a small thing, not super hard to pack. And And this one was kind of a bonus because I really bought that lot for those different colored ones. And so this one's going to be about a $35 profit. But again, 8 months to sell. So a lot of times when you get the clear glass items, they will take longer to sell. Last up is another item I love selling, and that's vintage nightgowns. This one is a Ashley Taylor vintage floral chintz cottage. I did put granny court sleeveless nightgown size large. It did sell for a full price of $19.49, but it took 9 months to sell. I picked it up at my dollar clothing thrift store, making it a $15 profit. But again, quite a long turnaround at 8 months, but really when this is folded, it doesn't take up a lot of space, and it's definitely something that's easier to ship. All right, that was everything. I hope you enjoyed and learned some new things to sell. Let me know what was your favorite or what caught you off guard that you might not have known before. Please stay warm. I've been getting snow pictures from my friends throughout the day, today and yesterday. Stay warm. I know we don't have snow. They said we might get snow this week in Florida. That might be a little crazy. So stay warm wherever you are, and I hope you've had a wonderful, wonderful weekend.